Der schönste Moment des Tages, beziehungsweise für mich ein sehr krasser Genuss, das Frühstück zusammen mit meiner Freundin.
Urs Kalecinski is coming. So if you haven't heard of Urs Kalecinski, aka the Miracle Bear, he was a 4th place finisher at the 2021 Olympia in a classic physique division. Now I have to admit, I had no idea who he was when I was watching that Olympia livestream, and that's on me, but my god, did he stand out. Before they even made first callouts and just compared the entire lineup, my eyes kept going to him every time he was on camera. Like, who is this guy? Because despite his lack of size relative to the other guys in the lineup, he looked damn good. Mainly because he's aesthetic as hell. When you looked at him standing next to Chris, Breon, Terrence, and Ramon, at least from my perspective, you could clearly tell that he was the smallest guy on stage in terms of muscle mass, but his lines, his symmetry, his proportions were sublime. I mean, honestly, I couldn't pick out a part of his physique that was lagging, except for size, really, and that's mainly because, again, who he was being compared to. His physique flows really well, he can hit a vacuum as deep as the best of them, he's got that classic X-frame that defined the golden era, and he can hit and project all of his poses in a way that accentuates his best features. And that's why he's going to be a very big part of the classic physique division's future for years to come, because his physique, in my opinion, is very consistent with the direction and the standards of classic physique today. He's like a smaller version of Chris Bumstead. Not to mention, he's only 23, so I think it's safe to say that he hasn't even scratched the surface of what his real potential is going to be. Now, with that quick and dirty out of the way, I'd like to dive into his Instagram and see what he's been posting leading up to this year's Arnold Classic. Now, first off, I think Urs does what I would consider to be a pretty good job of growing his followers, growing his community, growing his brand, and keeping in touch with everyone. His average posting frequency is like every 3 to 4 days, which isn't bad. He doesn't post every day like a Terrence or a Breon, but he stays relatively consistent. Now, you can also tell that this man is very passionate about his craft, which should make sense considering he placed top 5 at the Olympia last year. And since that placing, he's grown tremendously on social media. I mean, he's gained just 10,000 followers in the last week since the last time I've been on his Instagram. Last time I came on here, I think he had 159,000, and he's at 169K right now, so he is growing exponentially. I mean, when someone has that it factor, so much so that they can command the respect of their peers, you know they're special. Now, remember when I said he's just a less muscular version of Chris Bumstead? Well, there's no better post to exemplify this than this one right here. I mean, look at that. They have almost identical frames, identical structures. They both have that X frame. Chris seems to be just a little taller than Urs. Maybe he's got an inch or two on him, but at least from my perspective, they look very, very similar here. There's another post of them side by side. This one here as well. Look at those vacuums. I mean, they look like big brother, little brother over here. Nice conditioning. They have very similar color on them. I mean, they are twinning here. The vacuums look almost identical to me. The legs look almost identical. I mean, Urs is really just a smaller version of Chris. There's also this one right here of them both hitting that front relax. I mean, damn. They look so identical. Chris is just bigger. That's it. Chris is just bigger. But their physiques are so similar. And if Chris' physique is what the judges are going to continue to favor in Classic, Urs has a very good shot of taking that title one day. Maybe it won't happen next year. Maybe it won't happen the year after. But, man, at 23... good God, he is coming. Now, if you go back to his posing routine, you'll notice that he's a big showman. He loves to entertain the crowd, loves to get the people going, and he did a guest posing in Brazil that he posted, which I thought was really funny. He comes out in a bear costume, because, he's the Miracle Bear, and look at him rolling on stage in a bear costume. I love this so much. Man's doing rolls on stage. Man's breakdancing on stage. You gotta love it. You gotta love it. He's in a bear costume. He came out on stage in a bear costume. That is dedication, if I've ever seen it. That is a true commitment to your brand. Oh, here it goes. The costume's coming off. The costume is coming off. And now the real posing begins. Now, of course, his routines are pretty good, but I just want to show you that just to kind of give you some insight into Urs's personality and, you know, the fact that he's a really good showman. He will get the crowd going, and you love to see that in any division, really. Now, it's hard to not scroll through Urs's Instagram and just start admiring, because one, he's a great poser. Two, he has some amazing photos on his Instagram. I mean, this one right here is easily my favorite one. Where is it? Boom, look at that. I mean, how do you not see that on your timeline and just get captivated? He looks phenomenal. Look at this one too. I mean, his proportions, his lines, they're just so impressive. At least standing by himself, you could say it's almost damn near flawless. Conditioning on point, symmetry on point. He's just got a very impressive physique. A physique that anybody who's a part of the general public who's not really in this bodybuilding space could look at and say, wow, this is amazing. He looks like an action figure here. I mean, I think it's clear as day when you look at this guy that he is something really, really special. You know, I didn't know who he was before the Olympia last year, and he really just announced himself. And that's usually what happens when guys come out of nowhere. Guys who are really, really talented, the 1% of the 1%, they just step on the scene and just shock everybody. And I think he did that in 2021, and he's only going to get bigger. He's only going to get more well-known in the community. He's going to get more praise, and I think he's ready for the challenge. I think he can live up to the hype, and I'm really excited to see what he's going to bring at the Arnold Classic this year. I really am. Now, of course, considering the fact that we're going to be seeing him at the Arnold Classic in just a few days' time, we need to talk about Urs Physique. Now, from the Olympia up until now, we haven't really seen a lot of what Urs has been posting. For the most part, he's been posting motivational posts from the Olympia, kind of reminiscing, as well as just regular posts in his daily life. He posts a lot of stuff with him and his girlfriend, and the only really physique update that I can remember seeing was one from December when he was training with Tim Budashim, and that's really about it until yesterday. Now, yesterday, Urs posted his first physique update in months, and holy shit, this guy looks ready. Here he is hitting a classic pose, and oh my god, the first thing that stands out to me is his conditioning. Holy shreds, he looks conditioned as hell. The veins running through his arms, the separation in his quads, those deep cuts in his abs. Man, he looks phenomenal. In his front relaxed pose, I mean, look at the proportion. The way he flows, that tiny little waist, those wide flaring lats. I can't get over his conditioning, and this is 5 days out, and he looks unreal here. So aesthetic with that front double bicep, side chest. I don't know how much thicker he looks. We'll just have to see him compared next to the competition, but it does look like he did put on a bit of size since the Olympia. Ooh, back looks crazy. Wow. A lot of separation in the back. Glutes look nice and full. Hammies look nice and separated. He looks good. He looks really, really good. He looks dry. This was the first physique update that we've seen of him since December. So for the majority of the off season, everything was just a mystery. We had no idea what he was going to look like. So when a competitor doesn't really show their physique leading up to a competition, it can mean one of two things, right? Number one, they're not confident at all. Or number two, they're so confident in the package that they're going to bring to the stage that they'd rather just come in and shock everybody, right? And I think that's what's happening here with Urs, because he just looks incredible. I don't see a scenario where he doesn't come in and place top 4. I mean, based on what we're seeing here, I'd be surprised if he placed outside of the top 4. I could really see him coming in as high as second, because based on this update, he looks incredible. And this is a young guy who's come in and he's just kind of lapped the competition, and this is what happens when you have somebody with top tier genetics. I mean, People talk about the debate between genetics and hard work, and really the most ideal situation is to have both, right? A combination of genetics and hard work. So when you get that, you get a young guy who comes in, puts in the work, and he's just beating all these guys who've been training for years. I mean, at this point, we can confidently say, in Urs's case, it really is just top tier genetics. He's maximized his genetics, which is why he's already so successful at such a young age. I look at guys like Danny Yunin, who've been competing for years, and he hasn't really been able to get to that top tier elite level, and he's just kind of been falling short. And I think Danny did retire this year, but I mean, Urs Kalecinski for sure has been blessed with, I think, some amazing God-given genetics. I mean, when you can come in at such a young time in your career, similar to what Nick Walker did, and just start dominating, you're really something special. We're talking about the elite of the elite, top tier of top tier, the future of classic physique right here, Urs Kalecinski. Now, honestly, this physique update made me really happy, because prior to this, I was looking everywhere to see if we'd get at least a sneak peek of what he was looking like, but it was very clear. He was very smart with keeping everything under wraps. He does have a YouTube channel, go check that out. But I checked his YouTube channel, and it's just mostly workout videos, so he was making a deliberate attempt, in my opinion, to keep his physique a secret. And I like the timing of this update, just to get us even more excited for the Arnold Classic. Guys like Terrence, who have already won this show, are probably saving most of their juice for Olympia, but a guy like Urs, young kid who dreamed of competing at the Arnold, he's going to bring it all he has. He's probably going to bring his best conditioning this year, because that's something that he's probably going to want to get off that bucket list before he goes for an Olympia title. All in all, though, I think this kid has a clear path to superstardom, and not just in classic physique, but bodybuilding as a whole, regardless of where he goes in the future. We constantly see competitors come in and really push the envelope in terms of taking their division to the next level competitive-wise, and I think the presence of Urs Kalecinski is doing exactly that for the classic physique division. And I think I speak for a lot of fans when I say that I absolutely cannot wait to see where Urs Kalecinski brings to the Arnold Classic this year. My official prediction, second place. If you're wondering who I think is going to take third, stay tuned for my next video. If you made it to the end of this video, thank you so much. If you have any comments about anything I may have said, definitely get in the comment section and let's have a discussion. If you want to see more content like this, consider subscribing and hitting the notification bell so you know when I upload next. If you like this video, consider giving it a like. And my name is Large Kofi. Thank you for watching.